So the other day, my significant other and I were talking, and this topic has been coming up lately because there's been a lot of hardships and struggles that a lot of us are going through, and it's a really challenging time. He brought up this really funny analogy of imagine if you were a manager at your job and they hired this new person and they came on the scene and they just tried to completely reconstruct everything you knew about management, tell you how to do your job, telling you that you're doing it wrong and you should do it this way and not that way. And you're sitting there like, dude, I have all these years of experience doing this job. Don't you think I know how to do my job? And he kind of told me that this is how God kind of sees us in a sense. We as humans have a certain perception and we think we know a lot about a lot of things. And maybe some of us do, but we don't know everything. I'm actually going to read out of Mark. This is Mark 6:45 through 56. And it says, immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to Bethsaida. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. I'm sorry. While he dismissed the crowd, after leaving them, he went up on the mountainside to pray. Later that night, the boat was in the middle of the lake, and he was alone on the land. He saw his disciples straining at the oars because the wind was against them. Shortly before dawn, he went out to them, walking on the lake. He was about to pass by them. But when they saw him walking on the lake, they thought he was a ghost. They cried out because they all saw him, and they were terrified. Immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid." Then he climbed into the boat with them, and the wind died down. They were completely amazed, for they had not understood about the loaves. Their hearts were hardened. When they had crossed over, they landed at just Guinness. Look, y'all, these names in here, I'm not going to lie. If you know, you know. And they anchored there. As soon as they got out of the boat, people recognized Jesus. They ran throughout the whole region and carried the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. And wherever he went, into the villages, towns, or countryside, they placed the sick in the marketplaces. They begged him to let them touch even the edge of his cloak. And all who touched it were healed. I kind of want to title this message, I'm Walking Through It. And this is pretty literal to me because I am actually currently in a situation where I am having to walk through some pain. So I asked a lot of women who had this particular surgery that I recently had. I would ask them about the surgery and how they felt and everything. And every single one of them told me that it was the best thing they have ever did. And every single woman that I would talk to, every time they would tell me that, I would just get so excited because I'm looking at them and I'm like, man, yeah, you made it out just fine. Like, you're healthy, you're active. I mean, you look great, right? But there was one question that I failed to ask them. And it was, how long does it take to heal from this particular surgery? I never thought to ask that question because I was too focused on the outcome. But boy, what I didn't know was there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of different pains through healing that I am currently experiencing with this whole situation. And right now, I am literally having to walk through the pain because walking is good for the pain. And I've also adopted a new exercise regimen, which is taking walks in the morning for my mental health and my physical health, as well as doing some yoga stretches after, and I'm even soaking in the hot tub. So I am doing things to care for myself along my healing journey, and I have no doubt that I'm going to make it out just fine. And I said all of this to get to this point here. These women that had this surgery, they're all okay. They don't have any complications. They're happy, they're healthy. They never once said, oh no, don't do it because you're going to have this, this, and this, right? So I have to think about these moments during my pain because sometimes when we're in these situations that are so painful for us, whether it be a physical pain or an emotional pain or spiritual pain, anything like that, a lot of times we think that it's going to be stuck like that forever. We think we're never going to make it out. The tunnel is just too dark. We can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So why is it that a friend will recommend a series to watch and they'll tell you like, oh, it's a great show, you should watch it. But when you start watching it, it's really boring, right? The first couple of episodes, you're like, dude, like, I don't see what you see in this. But you know what they tell you? They say, wait, it gets better. This verse right here says, then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "You of little faith," he said, "why did you doubt?" And then they climbed into the boat. The wind died down, and those who were in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Why did Peter sink? Was it because he was focused on the wrong things? You see, when we're in the midst of a storm, it's hard not to focus on that storm. A lot of you are in these situations right now that you see no way out of. They are very challenging situations. It's very complicated for a lot of you. But I'm here today to tell you there's hope. And no, I'm not going to preach at you today because it's not about that. It's about faith. Faith doesn't get you out of the storm. Faith walks you through the storm. And in order to get to something, we have to go through something. And there's also that verse that says, "I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." It never once said, "Oh, I'm going to take up camp in the valley of the shadow of death. I'm going to sit there. I'm going to get stuck there. I'm going to get stagnant there." No. It says, "I walk through." When we're walking through these storms, we have to fix our eyes upon faith, upon God, upon hope, upon better days. So what are you focused on? I listened to a sermon this past weekend, and it really hit the nail on the head with a lot of things. One of the points in there, it said, "Take courage, not control." Peter sunk because of his doubt, because he was focused on all that he could not control. And what you focus on ultimately controls you. I know things are going to be okay. And a lot of you need to hear that right now, because maybe you're at that point where you lost hope. And maybe you're at that point where you just feel like giving up. But it's in that very moment that you feel like giving up. That's when your breakthrough happens. If you just hold on just a little bit longer. Just last week, I was at my breaking point. I was in a world of pain. I had no solutions. Everywhere I went kept telling me one thing, another thing. It could be this, it could be that. And I was really starting to lose faith. I was losing all hope. I was really down in the dumps. And I was on that breaking point. And I kid you not, in that very moment, I received a phone call. It was a sweet little nurse on the phone. Her name was Stacy. She was a triage nurse. She called me. And they don't ever call me, okay? This is not something that's normal, all right? I got my chart, we send messages and stuff, but nah, they don't normally call me. We just, talk through there. I've never met this woman in my life. And for some reason, she called me. And she said, "Look, honey, I know exactly what's going on. I knew somebody that was dealing with the exact same thing. Here's what you do about it." And I was like, "Wait, what?" So immediately I started researching, and yeah, everything lined up, okay? I'm here to tell you today, you feel like giving up, you're reaching that breaking point, your breakthrough is coming. Your breakthrough is right there. You just can't see it yet, but it's there. We have to stay focused on the things that we can control, like our attitudes, our perception, our peace. We don't have to focus on the storms. Yeah, they're there. Yeah, they are. And they're hard. There are signs and synchronicities all around you. You just have to open your eyes and look. Every sign and synchronicity, I believe, is a kiss from God. It's something that confirms within my soul that everything is working out for my highest good. Yes, that means the good, the bad, the ugly, and the uglier. I am forever grateful for all of the people that were placed in my life, I say by God, to shape my life and help me along my journey. These people just came into my life exactly when I needed them. I'm going to read a passage out of my Brood Blessings, and I'm gonna hop off here. "I affirm the Lord is my shepherd, my guide, and my provider. He leads me to places of rest and abundance, where my soul finds refreshment and peace. I trust in his provision, knowing that he is faithful to lead me and restore my soul. With him as my shepherd, I walk in confidence through every season of life." Y'all, I can't make this stuff up. I literally just turned to a page and I was like, give me a message for today. And guess what? That is our message for today. There is hope out there, guys. I love you all, and I'm praying you all have a blessed rest of the week. Whatever you're doing, be safe. Know that you are loved. Know that you have a purpose on this planet. And I hope to catch you in later videos.